Okay, good morning everyone and welcome back to another vlog. Today I am in Penrith in the Lake District, another very historical town here in the north of England, and this place actually holds a very special place in my heart because Penrith is somewhere where I grew up when I was younger, so I know it quite well. But I thought I would show you around today where I used to live, and there's lots of beautiful places in the Lake District around Penrith. It's very easy to travel around to the mountains, to other towns, to little villages. You've got everything on your doorstep here. And when you come out of the train station, if you're getting the train up from somewhere, as soon as you come out you've got Penrith Castle, which is where I am right now. Penrith Castle is here just behind me, and it was actually built to defend against the Scots when the Scots were invading England, but it was never actually used. It was actually constructed in the late 1400s by a guy called Richard II. He was the Earl of Salisbury, and he later became king. So it actually used to be his home before, obviously now it became a ruin. So it's a ruin now. And as you can see by this surrounding area, there's actually not much of it that really remained. Quite destroyed. It got destroyed quite a bit. But we've got some parts of it. You've got the Red Tower here, and then there's also like a little gate area which we can go and have a little look at over here. You can see there's like a, I'm not sure what this used to be, like a keep or a little dungeon area or something. But you can see there, it's not used for much anymore. And today is a little bit cloudy, but when the weather's nice, of course, everyone's out and it's a great place to go for a walk. You've also got some tennis courts, I believe, just over there as well, so you can also do that. But yeah, it seems to be a running theme in my vlogs recently from the UK to start at the castle. If you've seen my previous vlogs, we had Edinburgh Castle, we had Carlisle Castle. Yeah, now we're at Penrith Castle, so every town so far we've been going to, we have it. You can just see there behind me, we've got the ruins in the background, and we're just walking around the park now. But the next place I'm going to go to is actually just on the outskirts of Penrith. It's another castle, so 2 in 1. I'm going to show you that one next. Just on the walk now to Brougham Castle. It takes about 45 minutes from Penrith Castle to get there. It's quite a nice walk. There's little country lanes you can walk down. There is, however, a lot of traffic lights and a lot of main roads you have to cross. But there is also, on the maps, if you're following Google Maps, it tells you to walk along the main motorway, A66, so don't do that. I just spoke to a local and they just directed me where I can go. So you walk down the side of it past the police station under a bridge, which I'm going under now, actually. And then you kind of follow the roads round, and there's like another country lane on the other side, so it is walkable. Of course, if you have a car, much easier. And like any good place in the Lake District, we've got lots of sheep here. Fields of sheep. Alright guys, made it. We're here at Brougham Castle. It was actually built in the 13th century by a guy called Robert de Vieux-Pont, I think, French name. And he was given the land by King John in 1203. And it was actually built in a kind of like a strategic location as a defence point from conflicts with Scotland. But yeah, it's actually more intact than Penrith Castle, at least anyway. Penrith Castle, as you saw, was in ruins. This one has a bit more structure to it. But like I say, you can walk here or you can park your car here. There's a big car park if you're driving. I'm now in the grounds of Brougham Castle. And if you want to enter, there is a little gift shop you can go into, and if you want to enter, the admission fee to come in, if you're an adult, it's £8, and for a child it's £4.50. Well, I actually learnt a couple of interesting facts from the staff, is that back in the year 927, Penrith used to be part of Scotland, and of course Carlisle did as well. So back in 927, this never used to be part of England, but of course over the years they pushed the border up. So of course the border eventually ended in Carlisle, because Carlisle was the most northern city in England. But in 1092, Penrith officially became part of England. Interesting history. And another thing I learned today, which was so fascinating to me, is that Penrith is known to be the place in the UK with the most Viking DNA. Now that's very interesting to me, seeing as I've got family that originate from here as well, and I've always had a feeling. But anyway, now we're going to go and have a look in the grounds and I'll show you around the castle. Okay, and it's quite dark in here, but we're in the actual castle grounds now. You can see there's lots of little rooms here. I don't know if you can see in there. Look how dark that is. It's like a little chamber. Wow. You can see how medieval looking this is. Little stairs there going up. I wonder if we can go through it. Let's have a look. Wow. Okay, so I don't know if this was like a toilet or something. But you can see there, we've got a view looking out the window. It's a bit overexposed, but gosh. That is a tight squeeze. Oh. And all the iron bars. And I'm not sure what that is down there. Wow. And the sun's coming out now. It wasn't forecast to be sunny today, but here we are. Very lucky. Another thing I find really fascinating is that there's all these little purple flowers growing all over the castle walls, which is really unique, and it's actually quite a nice feature. I'm not sure how that happens, but I've never seen that before. But yeah, I just thought that was quite a cool little thing, especially as it's spring as well, so it's a great time of year for it to happen. Alright, and now I'm in the keep. So if you can see there, this is the oldest part of the castle, and you can actually go up and go round and see certain parts of it still. So I'm going to go and do that now and show you. And what's fascinating as well is that you can see there where there used to be a chimney, right there, there used to be a chimney going up. And it looks like another one there as well, maybe. We've got the views down here, looking towards the tower. Just over there. Incredible views all around. We have and over this side where we just came from, we have a view looking across the Emont River, and just on the other side of that river is where Scotland used to be back in the 900s. That was Brougham Castle, and I really highly recommend taking a good couple of hours to see this place. It's so worth it. But yeah, I think for £8 it's worth it, and also you can have a little browse around the gift shop. There might be a souvenir you want to take home. So overall, a good afternoon out. Just made it to Brougham Hall, so it's about a 15-minute walk from the castle. But as you can see behind me, we have a little door we're going to go through. It's a really cool place, and you've got to mind your head when you go in. But you can see here we've got a sign that says, "Welcome to Brougham Hall, Cafe, Craft and Restoration and Toilets." So let's have a little look around. It's stunning, stunning place. It does have medieval origins as well, so it dates back to the 13th century. Everything that stands today is from a lot of expansions that happened in the 19th century as well. So, of course, over the years it was being expanded. But yeah, it's stunning grounds, and there's lots to see, and there's lots you can walk around the walls, and of course you've got little studios and things. And it's only 15 minutes from the castle, so of course if you're in the castle you may as well go for a little walk or a short drive. It's only a couple of minutes driving. All the things that you see in the shops are all handcrafted by the locals. There was a local family there as well that make lots of cards, pictures, lampshades, there's lots of different things there, so really cool. Now I'm on my way back to Penrith town centre, and on the way down there I believe there is a couple of places we can check out. There's Arthur's Round Table, and there's also the Maberhenge. I've now just made it to Arthur's Round Table, and honestly when you come here it doesn't look like much. As you can see, it looks like a field. It doesn't look like much, but it's actually a round circle, and it's in there's like a ditch that goes all the way around, and you can actually see in the ditch like how this is like the table. You can see how what I'm standing on right now is like the perfectly round circle. And there's a lot of mystery behind Arthur's Table. I've just made it to the Maberhenge, so let's go and see it. It's just a single stone, so it might not look like much, but it's the fact that it's the history of it and how long it's been there for. But the other interesting part is that we've actually got to walk through a field with some sheep in, which is very common here in the UK. Walking through a field of sheep. Hello. Oh, the way they look at you. So I think it's just up this hill here, so let's go and have a look. Whoa, okay. So there it is. It's funny how it's just in this huge circle open area, and it's very isolated out of the way. It's quite cool really. And like I say, it doesn't look like much just being a stone, but it's the history of how long it's been there for and what it was used for. Between 2000 to 1000 BC it's been here since, and it's huge. And it makes you wonder, like, how on earth did they get this here? Or was it already here? I don't know. But it's huge regardless, and it digs right into the ground, and you can see all these smaller stones and sheep poop. All the smaller stones that surround it. Yeah, interesting. Really fascinating. Okay, made it back into Penrith town, and the first stop I'm going to make is actually at St Andrew's Church, because it is again a very historical building here in Penrith, and it's very peaceful, just next to the main square in Penrith, next to the clock tower, so you can't miss it. It's just off a side street. And yeah, there's a lot of history here as well. It dates back to 1397, and it's actually from the Georgian era, or the rebuild was from the Georgian era. And of course inside the church as well, it's really nice, it's peaceful, there's lots of really nice stained glass windows, and a really historic organ that's in there as well from 1799. But yeah, overall it's a really nice place and somewhere else to check out while you're in town. But I hope you're enjoying this vlog so far, and if you are, don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos coming soon as well. So while I'm here in the town as well, I just wanted to talk about the place there just behind me. It's called J.J. Graham. It's a very, very famous bakery here in town because it's been around since 1793, but it's actually been officially a bakery, I believe, since 1880. So over 2 centuries it's been there for, which is just incredible for a shop or a bakery like that. And even inside you can see all the antiques. You've got lots of antiques and old things that are about the history. It's very famous here, so if you are here, definitely go and check it out. They've got loads of cheeses, baked goods, jams, all sorts of things in there, so it's worth stopping by just for that. Okay, and another interesting fact for you all today. So behind me there is the Toffee Shop, which is very famous here in Penrith, and it's been around since 1910, so over 100 years now, and it's very famous. In fact, so famous that Prince Charles, when he was Prince Charles, came here and opened another section to the shop around the 2000s. It's world famous. It's a very famous fudge shop, so if you are in Penrith and you like fudge, you have to check it out. They've got all different flavours like butter fudge, mint fudge. They've got toffee, treacle toffee, butter toffee, all sorts of things. So absolutely go in and check it out. I'm just on Beacon Edge now, which has the most amazing view looking over the town, as well as the mountains in the background. And the walk begins going up to the top of the beacon. It's a nice walk up, but like I said, I haven't done this in 20 years, so it'd be nice to see if anything's changed, how it is. Alright guys, so I've just walked up from the bottom of the hill to the top. It takes around 20-25 minutes depending on your pace. As you can see, just behind me there, we have Penrith Beacon. So the best thing about Penrith Beacon is the views. You've got a panoramic view looking across the fells. You can see all the mountains. Now it's coming over a little bit rainy in the distance. It looks like there's rain coming over. So you can't see the mountains too much right now, they're a little bit obscured, but on a clear day you can see all of the fells, you can see part of the lake as well. I think it's Oldswater Lake that's over there. And then of course the Penrith Beacon itself is actually made from sandstone, which is very common across Penrith and other parts in the lake. Sandstone is very easy to resource around here, so everything you'll kind of see is made out of sandstone. And it was constructed in 1719, so it's just over 300 years old. I would show you the inside, but it's all closed off. But you can see in front of me here, there's where the entrance would be. But you can see up there, you've got loads of like the iron bars, and you can't really see in there, it's just all closed off, all fenced off. Yeah, panoramic views. There's a big cross here actually. What does the cross say? Penrith Beacon Easter Cross. This is a great place to actually end the vlog, with a view looking across Penrith. What a great place to end the day, and it has been a very eventful day. I do advise you take a car, and actually I do advise as well staying for more than one day, maybe stay for a couple of days if you want to see more of the town and more surrounding areas. Of course, there's lots of towns in the surrounding area as well, like Keswick, Pooley Grasmere, Glenridding, Ambleside, Windermere. There's loads. Like if you want to explore the Lake District, you need to stay for at least a month. But if you want to see Penrith, maybe a couple of days is enough if you want to do it leisurely. But yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed coming along on this adventure with me, and there'll be more vlogs coming very soon. And actually I've got a new country coming up, another country coming up that I'm excited to share more about with you soon as well, plus more vlogs coming from the UK, so stay tuned for them. But as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.